Good morning, happy science trees seated right here in front, and to you happy science flowers seated throughout the congregation. First off, I want to say that between 2 and 3 months ago, Kevin Luke conducted this same koan seminar at the Hawaii Shoja. And of course, I was able to reflect once again on the 10 koans, which are magnificent. However, personally, my chief reason for coming here to this seminar was to meet as many of you as I could, my fellow happy scientists. And by the way, in recent history, we're not the first religious organization to incorporate the notion of science within our organization. Mary Baker Eddy in the 1800s in America started Christian Science. I'm sure most of you here have heard of Tom Cruise, the celebrity actor, and he's a prominent member and has been a spokesperson for Scientology. Master Okawa, in his wisdom, chose to call this organization Happy Science. And well so, because here in America, we see the plethora of problems plaguing the society, and these religions have not and are not solving the poignant problems before us. And so I see myself, and I see all of you, as legitimate spiritual scientists. El Cantare has given us the methodology, the logic, the reasoning, the human behavioral understanding of how to effectualize that, at least first in the position of our minds. The greatest challenge is for how we can actually tether that to the outward society. Now, I might have to tell you a little bit of my own background. Since January of 1976, I personally have been devoted to world salvation. From 1976 until the end of 1982, I was a devotee, a cult member of the Unification Church, began by the Reverend Samyang Moon, a Korean. And their movement was about world salvation. I have to say I learned a lot. I traveled all across America, met tens of thousands of people. Valuable experience. And by the way, even though it was founded in Korea, they had far, far more many Japanese members than they did any other ethnic group throughout the world. So personally, as an adult, I've had an inexhaustible appetite to understand world cultures, religions, and art forms. And it's incumbent upon us to, like Master Okawa, he became a savior because he understood. You have to inculcate in your mind a thorough knowledge of history and the other religions and the cultural practices. So one of the greatest challenges for happy science in America is to have a deeper understanding of American culture. Strange as that may sound, the American culture of 2023, I assure you, is a far different creature than it was in the 1950s when I was born and in the 1960s. Totally different. That is our great challenge. Also, I have to say, I have to qualify all of you here. I tried to converse with many of you, not all, but most of you, at least a little bit. And I have to say, of course, this is my opinion, but you are not ordinary people. And it's not just because you're world salvation members. Your nature, as much as I could taste and experience your nature as individuals, you're extraordinary. You are spiritual idealists. I'm sorry, my happy science brothers and sisters, but for most of the people walking the streets of Pasadena and Los Angeles, I'm here to say they are not that. And so you are also in your nature religious. But yet we have a struggle here because we are self-identifying as happy scientists. And I think, or would like to believe, that I understand why Master Okawa said such. because he knows that the religions are not solving the problems. Ukrainian Christians are killing Russian Orthodox Christians in the war in Ukraine. And now Muslims are killing Jews and Christians, and vice versa in the war in Israel. So obviously, religion is not the savior in that position. They need some spiritual scientist. That's we. That's us. To me, the most daunting challenge is how we can tether and build and structure connections with politicians, with educators, with whomever. And by the way, Barry, your idea about giving insight to corporate America, I think that's the best thing you can do. Do it however you can. So look inside your own soul and your own life experience. We all have talents and skills. Whatever your individual talents and skills are, let heaven work through that. Let the bodhisattvas, the tathagatas, whoever want to funnel down their spiritual energy to shine a light upon you, let it shine. I truly do believe that is the closest, what I see, that's the closest thing to a solution, because we're not going to save the war in Ukraine or the war in Israel. Christianity has been reduced to salvation for the afterlife. What hope can they really offer in today's here and now? That's up to spiritual scientists. That's us. And so, in my own life experience, I've sampled music and cultures from around the world. So knowing that I was coming here about 2.5 weeks ago, I wrote a song, and in it are my thoughts and my feelings about El Cantare and our mission, which without El Cantare wouldn't exist. And so I call this song El Cantare. And I would say musically, the way I put this song together, it's an amalgamation of different musical, cultural elements. So it might sound a little bit different than music that you might be used to. And I'll also be using a musical structure that's termed call and response. In Central African countries, centuries ago, the priest or the chief would utter certain words, and then the people out in the crowd, also like in African American churches, where the pastor would praise Jesus and then the choir would echo the pastor. So I'm going to be using a similar format. I'll give the simple lyrics, which encapsulate my thoughts and my feelings about happy science and El Cantare, and then I'll try to mimic or contrast it with the harmonica. As the sun lights the day, and the moon glows at night, El Cantare sends forth his brilliant light. Explaining love and its developmental stages. Man's been lost in Maya and its ignorant spell. immersed in darkness and the laws of hell. Forge your mind and heart in true revolution. Reach the higher dimensions through holy evolution. As the sun lights the day, and the moon glows at night. Cantare sends forth his brilliant light.